trains of thought, right? Someone might say I lost my train of thought. And someone might also say, well, if I have to think about it, it's not a freestyle. Or if you're the phrase, one of the phrases is coming off the dome or off the top of the head. If I'm not doing that, then I'm not freestyling. And that's not necessarily 100% true. Like, this will be another episode. And this one was really more like just the letting of the ideas go that were in my head without worrying about scripting it. Y'all, there are New York, and that's what I'm from New Jersey originally. My parents are from New York. There are New York freestyles. It's actually very similar to UK freestyles, where, and not every UK freestyle, but many of them, somebody has learned a verse to the point where it's a wired thing. There's a neural map for it. They're just firing the same circuits. But the instrumental, the selector, the DJ they're working with, the people that they're around, the energy that they're in, the mindset that they're in may change the way that performance and that delivery is being given to you in that moment. That's a freestyle. It might not be the concept that some people have of, and every single word just appeared out of the ether, and as they appeared out of the ether, I was able to structure them into this thing and give it to you as this coherent piece of art. Sometimes it's literally, no, I really like this verse, I've learned it, and I've probably freestyled it over thousands of beats now before I was even here, hundreds of beats. And that's why every time I do it, people just get so tied up to it. One, because they already know, they're familiar with it. And the same concept of you going from the last episode and finding an artist or something of the culture, of the hip hop culture, to then familiarize yourself with, or something that it's related to that you're already familiar with, to build a familiarity to. It's the same concept. In that way, going back to the beginning of where we kind of started in this episode, the words that I'm using right now are words that I was taught. I had the predisposition and the ability to learn English, but you could also learn any language that you want. Like, even now at this age, if you were to continuously practice, you could learn another language outside of however you already communicate. That might take conscious effort. It's not the same way of when you're a baby and people are just speaking the language around you and it's just going into your mind. But in the same way, if you go out to a crowded area right now and there's just tons of people speaking, you might be tuning it out, but it's going into your mind. You could reject the information coming into your mind, but it's going into your mind. It's happening around you. And in that moment, there might be tons of associations that you're making with what someone said. You might mishear someone. Someone might say something else and you think another thought based off of what they said. It's literally the same concept. And in that way, yes, freestyling without prior conscious meditation on what you're going to do or what you're going to say or what emotions or feelings you're going to invoke and just letting them flow through you is achievable and doable. People do it all the time. I experience it. And that's not how I started out rapping. But you do have a library of words that you possibly only use when you're freestyling. You might know 1,000 words. You might only use 300 when you're freestyling. Part of the fun is being like, oh, I only seem to use a certain set of words. I seem to fall into these certain patterns. I seem to want to rap this way. I seem to like these type of beats. I seem to And then as you notice those things, you can be like, well, what would it be like if I rapped on a different beat? What would it be like if I rapped slower? What would it be like if I rapped faster? If I sang more? If I left more space in between the beat? If I left the instrumental alone for a second? Like, what would those things feel like? And in that way, you're building what your knowledge of freestyle is. Freestyle isn't just, it was a 3-minute beat and I rapped for the entirety of it. At least not to me. Once again, personal opinion. Other people may feel differently. Freestyle is, I have these thoughts and these concepts and these ideas that sometimes just seem to come from nowhere. That sometimes I could express them in a 16-bar format. I could express them in a blues song or a rock song. But I like the way it feels when I have less, or at least seemingly less, structure, I'll say. Although freestyle has structures, and I'm able to put those concepts and feelings and ideas into a form that people then relate to. So I think this episode will probably be one of the best representations of freestyling. And in this moment, right, if it was disjointed or all over the place, as I'm watching it back, I'll realize what it is I was doing, or what I was going for, and I'll be able to structure it in a way the next time that's more coherent and palatable to a multitude of people. Even if at its most palatable and its most coherent, there are people who are still like, well, I'm not interested in freestyle. I don't like rap. I don't like hip hop. I don't like this person. I don't like the way they speak. And in that, they immediately tune out or just click off of whatever it is that I'm expressing to them. But they might go to another person where they do like everything that they're doing. Same ideas being expressed, and they're like, I understand. Which is also possibly an experience you've had. You're wanting to explain something to somebody, and you can't.
It's quiet, we can get it revved up. I can go a step up, I can just mess up and bring it right back. I got a little something on the stove and it's hot, but it's cold, but it's like that. Every time I reach into the fridge, I come right back with something to drink or something that you take for a nightcap, right by your nightstand. I got a nice hand, so I could probably dribble a basketball and shoot from my right hand. Man, I'ma pass it to my dog.
He said that it's not you, but I woke up at 2 and I'm still good, trying to get back to my crew like I knew I would when they said that it's blue. But I feel like every time I switch the color, then I learn the cue, what I'm supposed to do. Now they want the him and ha, now they want the him and how. I said, well, I'd rather go, no, I don't know Chappelle, but I'd be somewhere where Chappelle be on Easton, that's east side, no southwest, my bad beat. AT, like air gear, but have to call back, cause if I'm floating this fast, then Iki might fall fast. I can't call it Sky King, cause they ain't looking me up. It's just the Skype, but Skype P had told me that the one piece was enough. Now not a bathing suit, but if they're bathing in their suit, probably should have held out the water before they got cooked too. And it's just like lobster. Now they're just imposters, then I'm laughing at their fodder, and I won't even falter. Calling up for callers, but I don't get no more orders, and I'm out the wing like baller. Calling back, I don't need ice to shine, man, I'm so bright. I could call them back longer, but gotta hand it